PD, 60 Minutes with PD. Welcome, welcome, welcome to 60 Minutes with PD. Another Saturday evening with PD, your fastest moving 60 minutes of the day. So yes. Welcome to PD, to 60 Minutes with PD. Welcome to 60 Minutes with PD. Yes. Stickley Lash, Helen, and that's Delagwa, I believe. Hi, how are you doing? Zinga Clothing, how are you? Welcome to 60 Minutes with PD. Welcome. Real Man, how are you? Good to see you. Welcome to 60 Minutes with PD. Bibian, that's right. Bibian requests, I'll be talking to you soon. Welcome to 60 Minutes with PD. I wonder what time is it in California, Bibian? I wonder what time it is. Okay, Zinga Clothing, Luxy Mutenya, how are you? Wave. Yes, Bibian, thumbs up. Wisdom Bernard, how are you? Good to see you. 60 Minutes with PD. Kate Meshi, how are you? Welcome to 60 Minutes with PD, your fastest moving 60 minutes of the day. It's every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. right here at PIDI 19. Please follow me now. And please get your friends to follow. Limsby, Davidson, Chime. Now request to come on. Be talking to you soon. Mrs. 87 Couture, George 2080. How are you, Davidson? Nah, Afako, how are you? How's it in Accra? In Accra. Margaret, how are you? Krimbe, how are you? Krimbe, how are you doing? Where you from? Let's shout out our cities right now. As you come on, just shout out your cities. Fantastic, Bibian, great. Cravings Cake, Narmali, that's a good one. Narmali, how are you? Binta, how's it? It's good to see you again. Loxy, yes, we are. Welcome to 60 Minutes with PD. It's just amazing to see you all on another Saturday. Yes, Buffy, good to see you, Buffy. Be talking to you soon. Yes. We're here. I'm here every Saturday. It's the fastest 60 minutes of the day. It's never enough, but hey, I'll be back next Saturday. While I'm here, please feel free to ask me any question at all on relationships, on marriage, on life generally. I believe I would have a wise answer for you. Krimbe, how are you? Hey, from Port Harcourt, Nigeria, great. Ghana, Zinga Clothing, you're from Ghana. I thought you were in Abuja. How are you? Amazing, we have Ghana in the house. Shout out your cities, let's see where you're from. Yes, fantastic. So feel free, just ask me, any questions at all about life. Craving Cakes, you're in Abuja. That's amazing. We need to patronize you soon. Martins, how are you? Yes. So follow me right here on PIDI 19 on Instagram. We're on YouTube at PIDI 19, Gmail. And let's do life together with wisdom. Get your friends to follow. With all the amount of advice, of really effective advice on the profile. Get more people to come follow and just benefit from all that's there on the profile. Amazing. Today our topic is interesting. It's called dangerous personality types. Dangerous personality types, and the three personality types that I'll be talking about will be the aggressives, the passives, and the passive aggressives. From Istanbul, Casey Kuhn. Wow, how you doing, Istanbul? Shout out to Istanbul. So we're talking about personality types. I'm going to try to make this as fun as possible. It's a serious topic though, and we're going to understand why he feels disrespected. There are times when, like this issue that we're going to look into today, I've seen people who've been married for years and they're having problems, but they never could figure out what the problem was till they met me, and then everything just opened up. And I've seen people miss this to the point where they actually get divorced or they separate because they just could not just make it work. And tonight, what I'm going to explain and just show us will open up a lot to us that your relationships are just going to be so much better. And the truth is this: every single person has a bit of these traits in them. Even if you're not a full aggressive, then you're a mixture of it. So we all need to just listen and learn something that's going to just be an amazing blessing to us today. Azwai, I see you. You have to call me. Okay, MS Poputa, how are you? Sammy, it's good to see you, Sammy. How's it doing in the UK? Okay, so today we're going to talk about personality traits and how they interact. And these traits, a certain combination is outright dangerous. And in a few minutes, we'll get to learn about this. Okay? We'll look at the good, the bad, and the very bad. The three personality types are aggressives, passives, and passive-aggressive. What do you think you are? Just shout it out. Let's see. If you think you're an aggressive, tell me. If you think you're a passive, just say it there. If you think you're a passive-aggressive, let's start to check ourselves out. Now, who's an aggressive? An aggressive is a person that's vocal. They voice their opinions easily and often. People that just go ahead and do what they've planned to do. They don't need to consult a lot. They're not hesitant. They're just very confident. An aggressive person is a confident person. They know what they want. They vocalize it really well, and they get out there and they do it. Okay, so that basically is an aggressive person. A passive person is a gentle person, not so loud, not so forceful, easy to convince, to agree with you, and easy to carry your vision. Okay, they don't take offense easily, and even when they're offended, they forgive easily. Okay, so like a passive person is really easy. If you tell them sorry, you pat them on the back, you give them a kiss on the cheek, they're fine and they're okay. And then you have the passive aggressives. These are the ones you got to be careful about. A passive aggressive on the outside is passive, so they don't talk loud, they don't force, they don't make a big effort to get what they say done. They're just easygoing, but on the inside, they are as aggressive as the aggressive. Now, by natural selection, if you are aggressive, if you engage another aggressive, it's very likely that you will clash. And because you're both aggressive, you're not going to get along. So most times aggressives don't settle down with aggressives. Did we get that? Okay, but aggressives always gravitate towards passives because a passive person lets them do their thing, okay, and they're happy. So it's a nice makeup where they're just happy. The aggressive is doing what they're doing, and the passive person is like, it's okay. I'll go with what you say, and they're just okay. Okay, but then what happens is this: the aggressive person also will gravitate towards a passive aggressive because they think they're passive. So a lot of times I see married couples, I see an aggressive end up with a passive aggressive. And now the issue with the passive aggressive is this: when you do anything to a passive aggressive, they will most likely not say anything. But even though they did not say anything outwardly, they responded in their head. And as I speak, if you identify yourself in any of this, just listen some more. So the passive aggressive is responding in their heads, and when you offend them, so when they say something, they don't say it with they don't put a lot of effort to it. But they're serious. What they said, they really want it done. But they're not going to say it 2 times, or they're not going to raise their voice. They're not going to make a big deal because they're not aggressives. Even with their plans, they're not so articulate. They don't articulate their plans so clearly and often. So if they're in a marriage or a relationship with an aggressive, the aggressive just rides over them and pushes their agenda and gets what they want done. But for each time you ride over a passive aggressive, they've recorded the offense inside. They've answered you when you spoke, they just didn't say anything, but they've recorded. And the problem with them is that they accumulate your offenses. So if you're an aggressive, you have no idea. You think things are going fine. You think everything that your partner is fine, that your spouse is fine, till one day that they explode. And when they explode, it's with a big bang. okay? And it's like a shock, like what, what's going on? And then the other symptom too is sometimes you see in a combination of a passive and an aggressive and passive aggressive, there's always a communication problem where they're complaining about communication not going well, but they don't know what's going on. It's not going well because one party is responding internally and not responding outwardly, and that's something that we've just got to just slow down and catch. But then, there's always a solution to everything. And the thing here is this: when the passive says, if the passive is male, the complaint usually is, I don't feel respected. And the aggressive cannot figure out what's wrong, because she thinks that she's, she just doesn't, she expects that if he wanted his agenda pushed, he would raise his voice. If he wanted this thing done, he'd raise his voice, he'd be more active about it, he'd make more effort, he'd be more aggressive about it. But he's not an aggressive. Okay? And if you're not careful, at the end of the day, by the time he explodes or it comes out, the passive aggressive, they're difficult to beg. And why they're difficult to beg is because they've been offended at you for a long time and you just did not know. Just did not know. When I explain this to couples, it blows them away because the dynamics that I'm talking about, they've experienced it. So like if you've experienced it, give me a wave. If you haven't, then still learn because you might experience it somewhere. So just get that. Now the key is this. This is the solution. If you're in this situation, if you are the aggressive, you've got to realize that my spouse, my partner is a passive aggressive. They don't talk much. So I have to be careful. If I do anything, I've got to come to them and just check up with them. Is it okay? Make them speak to you and tell you it's fine. If it's fine, then you go ahead. But keep checking up with them. It's very important. If you are the passive aggressive, be intentional about not responding internally. Try your best to speak up. And I'll tell you this about the passive aggressive. The longer you keep quiet, the harder it is to speak. Okay? So you've got to make yourself speak up as soon as possible. And something that I teach people is this: your partner loves you. Your partner is not going to hurt you. Most times the passive aggressive doesn't speak. It's a defense system. It's a defense system. So they're not speaking. They're behind the bars and they're watching you and they're not saying anything. Okay? And to be quite frank, if you're an aggressive, the more the more you make an effort to okay, it's like this. Imagine a young boy, he gets scared and he climbs up a tree and he sits in the tree. Okay? Now, as long as you shout underneath the tree, he's going to climb higher and just look at you and not say anything. But if you step back from the tree and you move away, after a while he'll come down that tree and then he'll play again. Okay? You just get that. And this plays out many, many, many times. I see that somebody says, that's the story of my life. Cream Bay, I hope you're hearing something right now, okay? And the key word here is this: with these couples, one thing I always hear is that when I've heard a wife tell me, she came to me and she's telling me about her husband, and when she was done, I had to tell her that, you know what, I know what's going on, and two, I know what you're supposed to do. Like something very simple. The man just said something really simple, but he only said it once, but she never did it. And then one day he exploded over this issue, and she couldn't figure out that, what was the big deal. And then she took offense, and now they were both quarreling. But guess what? It was boiling in his head, and he had said it. Just something really, really simple. So if you have a passive aggressive husband or wife, please take time to carry them along. Take time to just make sure that they tell you that they're fine with what you're doing. And if they speak, just lightly about something, take it to heart and just think about it and attempt to do it. Amazing. I think I've used my 15 minutes up. I have, who's coming first? Judy. If Judy is available, I want Judy up. And if you have any questions tonight, I'll take whoever comes up with your questions. I don't see Judy. If Judy's not here, I'm going to bring up Bibian. Bibian is here, and I think she's ready to go. So this is Bibian coming in California. So I hope you heard something. I didn't go through my notes, so I know that I may have missed out some stuff. But hey, I'm sure that you heard something. Hi, Vivian. Hey, how's it going?
I'm good.
Fantastic. You look so nice. Yeah. I like the braids. The braids, you're rocking those braids.
Yeah.
Really. Hi, Vivian. It's so good to see you. I see the young man is right there, you know.
Yeah,
How's it going?
fine, thank
It's
you.
going good?
Enjoying.
Fantastic.
Okay, excuse me, baby.
Fantastic, fantastic. Any questions for me? Today's topic is dangerous personality type combinations, passives, aggressives, passive aggressives. Any questions regarding anything?
Yes. I'm really, really enjoying it. So, what's the best approach now when you know like your husband is a different or your partner is a different
Okay,
personality? So, do you get to
okay.
tailor? You have to change yourself. Oh, so who now makes that compromise? Okay, go have a snack.
It's like this. You don't need to change yourself, but you got to change your responses. Okay, because whatever personality type that they are, there is going to be an appropriate response that's going to get the best out of them. So you want to figure out what the personality type is, and you know, if they're aggressive, you want to speak up more, because if you're with an aggressive, they know what they want, they have their plans, they have no problem just moving forward and moving forward with their agenda. And so if you don't speak up your agenda enough, then it's really hard for them to it's really hard for you to like keep up with them. So and if you're the aggressive, then you got to slow down and carry them along. Just get that.
Okay. Okay, cool. Then another thing is that you know they say this saying goes opposite attract. So we get attracted to
Okay.
someone totally like different from us, and we
Yeah.
want to be with that person, and then you go in that relationship, then you find out that okay, you want that person to be like you because you're not getting along. Those things that were not an issue before now becomes an issue because it was not like you, but you're like, okay, you're trying to make the person be like you, or vice versa, he's trying to make you be like him. So how do you deal with those kind of situations whereby you go attract someone that is different from you, and then they
Okay.
form a relationship, and that now becomes like conflicting issues in your relationship because you guys have different ways of thinking now.
Okay, now the thing is this: truly opposites attract, because like this topic today, an aggressive will attract a passive, and that's fine. So you come together. Now the key, there are keys to love. That if we keep to those laws, one of the first laws of love is about the other person. Now, if both parties will come to agree that love is about the other person, then I know that in all that I'm doing, I am going to consider the other person and tailor my response to suit the other person. So when we're talking, when we're communicating, I'm going to listen to you, and I'm going to do, and I'm going to like adjust what I do to fit you, to suit you, and you're expected to do the same thing for me. And life will be amazing if we all do this.
Right.
But then most times it's like you're playing football, but you want to use the laws of tennis. You know, how are you going to be successful? You've got to use the laws of love. And love is about the other person. And for any kind of relationship to work, you've got to do love. You have got to understand what love is and do it. Did you get that?
Yeah.
Fantastic, fantastic.
Right. So that's interesting. So I'll give you another scenario now. Okay, let's say now you have with that different personality. So let's say in this instance, your husband wants to be at home or watch the game, and you want to go hang out with your friends, have family time, go out. So you decide, so you ask him, like, no, brother, you can go by yourself. I want to be at home. So you feel like he's not, is not engaging with what you like to do, but he wants to just be at home and watch TV. You feel like he's neglecting you, and he feels like you're neglecting him. You're going out with your friends. Then you now deal with that kind of situations in a marriage, in a relationship.
Okay. The husband likes to stay at home, and you like to go out, and that's fine. That's not a problem. But then if husband stays at home all the time and you're going out all the time, then you're not making about the other person. Okay. So it's okay. When husband wants to be at home, I'll be home and we'll have a nice time. Yeah. But then if we did that this week, the next week is my turn. And because I had fun at home with you on your week, then you're gonna have fun with me on my week out. Do you get that? So it's we're working together and we're making it work. Do you get that? But so it's important that both parties talk and both parties come to, it can't be one-sided, where one party gets all that they want all the time. And so it's got to be both parties. So it's important that husband and wife can talk. Just get
Okay,
that.
nice. Good. Let me.
Fantastic, fantastic.
Yeah.
I see Judy is
Let me see if we have
here.
any questions here. That's good. I like that.
Yes, he said had a problem
Okay.
today. I didn't want to go somewhere, and he did. Okay, like he says, had that problem today. I wanted to go somewhere, and he didn't. Well, like when you agree to do what they want, make it clear that you know what I'm doing this. I'm doing this for you, and I want to have fun, and go and really have fun. But make them realize that you know your turn is going to come. And in love, it can't be your turn all the time. It's got to have you know your turn and my turn and your turn, and then we all have fun. That's amazing, amazing. Baby,
Okay.
how is it going? Should
I'm
I?
fine, baby. Yes, I have to go.
I see that. Should I bring Judy on board? What do you think, baby? Let me see. Is Judy, where are you, Judy? Let us see. 1 minute. Fantastic, Judy. Send request.
I'm here. It's connecting.
It's connecting. Fantastic. Judy.
Yay.
Hi,
Can you
Judy.
see
How's
me?
it going? Judy, you need more light.
I'm good. How are you?
How's it going? Fantastic.
Good. That's better.
Good. It's a little bit better right now. So talk to me. We're talking about dangerous personality types, different combinations.
Yes, because when you were talking about the different personality types, I was worried. Like I was thinking, like especially for people that are more passive in a relationship, if you're like you mentioned, the opposites attract. So it's probably quite easy for a passive person to be with a more aggressive person. So how does that person get there? How does that get there? How do they get their voice across? Because if someone's slightly more aggressive, there could be a tendency that you're kind of lost when like the other person is the one who's point because you may not necessarily speak back and so on. So what advice do you have for someone that's passive that may feel like they're not being heard?
Okay, like for most people who are like entirely passive, actually they're actually okay with it. There's a level like a complete passive person will just follow the other person. There's a level of aggressiveness in a passive that makes you want to take your own stand. And what I said was the passive has got to learn to speak up.
Yes.
Most passive people, most passive aggressives, it's not like they're silent, they're just not speaking out. So they're responding on the inside, they've got their own views, and they're actually strong about holding on to their views and their agendas on the inside. They're just not saying it outside. Okay. And most times aggressives misread them and think they're just passive. But it's a two-way thing where the passive has got to speak up some more, speak up faster, not wait till they're and most times with passive aggressives, by the time they speak, they're angry. By the time they talk, it's an explosion, it's like an outburst. Because at this point they've had it. But don't wait till you've had it before you speak. Okay? You know, I mean, the first time you didn't feel right about something, speak up. Say, you know, darling, I didn't like the way you spoke to me. I didn't like the way you spoke to my in-laws. I didn't like, you know, because most times it's small things like that. Because the aggressive is just doing their thing. Aggressives are good people. They're good people. They're just doing their thing, you know. But then it's easy for them to just ride roughly over a passive aggressive or a passive person that's with them. So the passive needs to tone down, the aggressive needs to speak up.
Because I think a lot of people have that challenge of like knowing how to speak up or knowing how to speak up in the right way. Because I mean, what happens if you get a very aggressive reaction or the kind of reaction that you're trying to avoid? I feel like a lot of people are maybe passive or passive aggressive because they don't necessarily like confrontation. Some people are okay with confrontation and some people really shy away from it.
That's true. Passive aggressives do not like confrontation, but when they've had it, then they'll confront, and they confront roughly. So it's about being sensitive. Most times too, till they get counseled. Most times the aggressive doesn't know what's going on because they're just being themselves. That's just the way they're wired. So they're just doing their thing. They're go-getters. They're out there. Is their agenda. If you don't stand against their agenda, like, you know, just stand in their way, they'll just keep keep going. So like after
Yeah.
some kind of counseling, then the aggressive starts to tone down, start to listen out more effectively, and watch and just watch body language and responses. When the passive person isn't responding properly, then on their
Yeah.
own they can regulate themselves because they've learned to watch out for the signs.
And so,
And most times you need a third party to come in and like shine a light for them to see what's going on.
okay. And are these the only three types of personality that there are: passive, passive aggressive, and aggressive, or are there other ones as well?
There are others we can break down, but tonight I just want to deal with these particular ones. I mean, we could talk about like Matic and different kinds, but we're going to talk
Yeah.
about these particular three. It's like everybody falls into some degree of passive or
To
passive
one of
aggressive.
them, yeah.
I see a question that says that if you're both passive aggressive, now most times, I mean, and that's interesting because most times two passive aggressives is not a common combination. But if you're both passive aggressive, then you're both quiet. But you're both,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a little combination because you're both quiet and you're both accumulating offenses. Okay. So what happens is that, you're both quiet. So there seems to be peace for quite a while. But then when the eruption happens, it's going to be really bad because both of you are carrying baggage at this time. Passive aggressives carry baggage because they just kept it inside. They haven't vocalized it. They haven't expressed it. It hasn't been dealt with. The partner doesn't even know that that problem exists because they're passive aggressive. They just keep it in. So by the time it gets to that boiling point, it's an explosion. So it's like a time bomb waiting to happen if you're both passive aggressives.
But the
So
thing
that's
is,
a good question. Oh my God, yes.
a lot of people feel that that's maturity, or a lot of people feel that it's like maybe not necessarily speaking about things, because when you're trying to walk in love with somebody, you're saying that, okay, it's always about the other person, or you're like showing love to the other person. So I may overlook something, I may choose not to make a big deal out of something because I'm trying to be loving towards that person. And so then where's the balance between not trying to be too dramatic, not trying to love the person and see past their faults, and then knowing when you're holding too much in?
That's a good point. And now the issue here is this: love always communicates. And now, if you're communicating from a heart of love, from a place of love, you can always get your message over. Not to speak actually is never the right thing. You may not need to, you shouldn't speak when you're angry and when you're not in a good place. But once you get to a good place and you're able to verbalize your emotions and what you're feeling, you should be able to express it nicely. It's like I'm not gonna nag or shout, but the way you responded last night, I really didn't like it. Let's talk about it. And then let's talk about it. Let's hear my heart. And make some adjustments to make things happen. So we have to communicate when we are in relationships. It's like oxygen. Communication is oxygen. If you don't communicate, then you will suffocate. That's just it. Period. That rhymes.
Yes,
If you don't communicate, you'll suffocate. I like that. Okay, talk to me.
it's very true. And I guess, but you can only really do that, like you said, if you have good communications. You're saying communication is the basis for all of these things. Because it's like knowing how to communicate better with someone, like by their personality type, is very important.
And there are people that if like once the passive aggressive has climbed up the tree, if you come aggressively at them, they'll just move further back. And they'll be more quiet and more quiet. So you've got to pull back, And then if you don't understand this, because I'll tell you, I actually used to be like this. That's why I know. When you come back down, if the person you're with doesn't understand, then they're upset. They're upset that for the last 2 days you did talk. Okay? And then because they're upset, then there's another quarrel, and then you climb back up again. And then before you know it, something that could have been settled in like an hour, 30 minutes, becomes a situation that's dragging into 2 weeks. Because you're taking turns to get upset, So one party, climbs up for a while.
Hello? I think you're frozen. Okay, yes,
Hi,
yeah. I said I
how are
think you
you?
were frozen for a second.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Mhm.
So talk to me. Hi,
Someone's
Chika.
asking a question. She's
Yes.
saying he's passive aggressive and I'm aggressive. And sometimes I wonder if we can make it to marriage because he hates it when I say, oh, it's okay, and then keep talking. But when I do, he keeps talking and talking. So I guess they're still trying to work out how
I
they
know, I know.
can
It, it,
yeah.
it, it's something that you've got to work out before you get married. And you've both got to be willing. It can work, but you've got to be
Mhm.
willing to work on it. And how can I put it? There's something I called a refined aggressive or a refined passive aggressive. Like someone like me, I could be aggressive. I think in my natural state, I'm aggressive. But because I have learned so much and I know what I know, I'm a refined aggressive. So I know
Mhm.
enough to always ask how you're doing and how you're feeling and carry you along. I know enough to know that it can't be my way all the time. I have got to carry you along. Yeah, so
Yeah.
the key there is that both parties need to study it. I mean, like, it's not possible for me to like explain everything in this 60 minutes that I have, but there's a little bit more to it. But
Yeah.
then but it's possible. It's possible for it to work between passive aggressives and aggressives. It's very possible. But you both have got to know what's going on, know what's working. Sorry, sir, I joined late. What's the difference between a passive aggressive and passive aggressive? Okay. An aggressive is a should I change my source of my internet? Okay, so
Yeah,
so
it seems to be
personal.
freezing.
Okay, was that me?
Yes.
Anyway, okay, I will change my internet. Okay, as I say, so passive is the person that's just passive, easygoing, not very vocal, won't speak strongly, won't defend, won't fight for their agenda. They're just easygoing. And a passive aggressive is the person that on the outside, they are just passive, but on the inside, they're aggressive. So they're not talking, they're not speaking loud. They're not fighting for their agenda. But on the inside, they're talking to themselves. And on the inside, they're holding on to their agenda. So if they're with an aggressive, the aggressive will offend. An aggressive will always offend a passive aggressive if they don't know what's going on underneath they'll always have a problem. So it's good to figure out who you are and who you're dealing with. And the thing too is that just by natural selection,
Okay, I think
yes. Do you talk to me?
uh-huh. So people say that people are wondering if yeah, it's UPD, sorry, your internet isn't cooperating. Yeah, people are wondering, can your personality type change? Does it change over time? And people are also saying that, that people say that being passive aggressive like is something that people say in a derogatory way. So is it a bad thing or is it just it's
Not a
just a
bad thing.
thing?
It is not a bad thing at all. That's just the way you're wired, and it's not a bad thing. Being passive is not bad. Being passive aggressive is not bad. Being aggressive is not bad. That's just your natural state. But the thing is that with knowledge and with just the knowledge of love and just knowing what to do in your relationship, you can actually modify yourself and be a refined passive or a refined
Mhm.
passive aggressive where you know what to do, and then you just come out of that raw state. You're just not aggressive anymore. You're taking time to ask your partner how they're feeling, ask them if they like what's going on. You're checking up with them that, you know what, are you okay with this? And then you're waiting to get an okay before you shoot. Because most
Okay.
aggressive just like they're shooting from the hip.
Shoot. So someone is
That's it.
asking about attachment styles. That people seem to have different styles of types of attachment to each other as well. So like some people are more anxious, and so they
Okay.
require a lot of like reassurance. And then some people are slightly more avoidant, and so they don't want. I don't know. They can run away a bit more. So they're saying that like, is that something to do with their personality, or is it just that people have different ways that they attach to people?
I think this connects with love languages because like words of like if you need words of affirmation, you're obviously a person that you're a bit anxious. You need somebody to tell you, you know what, you can do it. You know, it's going to be okay. You need encouragement. The fact that you need that already shows that it what's working in the background. If it's, you know, so right now that could take us into love languages, and you are able to speak your partner's love language, and your
Yeah.
partner usually may not speak your love language. If your partner speaks your love
Okay.
language, that's really good. That's easy, but they don't have to speak your love language. It's
Yeah.
left for you to know. Like the question I always ask is this: what does a person do to you to make you feel loved? Whatever that
Yeah.
thing is, that if they do it to you, you'll be loved. That's your love language. I mean,
Okay.
we've categorized them under broad topics,
Yeah.
broad headings, but whatever a person, like, you know what, consistently, if a person does this to me, I am going to feel loved. That's a language, whatever it is.
Yeah. So someone is saying, I find passive aggressive people a bit sneaky, almost like you can't trust their intentions. Whereas with aggressive people, you know where you stand. So I guess maybe
Um,
some people that are more aggressive, maybe. So what do you think about that?
I see where that's coming from because with an aggressive person, it's all up in the open. I mean, it's in the open. It's like what they do is who they are. Now, a passive aggressive, there's a lot going on the inside. They're not bad
Yeah.
people, but there's a lot going on the inside that you don't see. And that
Yeah.
could make you, you know, feel that way, you know, and I get that. I just get that. But it's not something that needs to get you scared.
Yeah, and I guess the aggressive people need to learn to be more patient, or if they are dealing with people that are slightly more passive aggressive, then they know that, okay, this person is not maybe going to come out and say what the problem is. So in love, I need to like maybe ask them or be more patient with them because I want to make sure they're okay.
That is true. That is so true. Thanks, Judy. I have two guys coming up after Judy.
Yay. All right, then. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Judy. Thank you, Judy. Thank you, Judy. I have, yes, I have Buffy. Buffy. Where are you? Are you there? I need the Ojodu and Chibe. Where are you? You guys request. Let me see if I can find you on the list. But request to come on. I know, yes, I see Chime right here. Fantastic. Okay. Why is my... Yes. Hi, how are you? Hi, how are
Good.
you?
How are you?
Good to see you. Good to see you. Good. Great to have you on.
Thank you.
Our topic is dangerous personality type combinations. Passives, aggressives, and passive aggressives. How's it going?
Yeah, I'm good. I've been listening to the conversation. It's been very interesting so far, and lots of thoughts and questions that I'm ready to fire.
Good. Talk to me.
So one of the questions I've been thinking about is that you know, you were talking about switching. So basically accommodating the like switching during different periods where maybe on 1 week one person would do something and then another week the other relationship person would do something, right?
Okay, to accommodate one another. Okay.
Yes, exactly. So my question is that I think that is good, but what if the relationship isn't like marriage or it's not a strong relationship? Maybe you guys are dating and getting to know each other, and the person
Okay.
doesn't want to compromise. They don't want to
Okay.
alternate between one person doing something and then the other person doing something. They just kind of want it their way, especially when you're getting to know them and you guys are just initially dating. Does that make sense?
Yes, I get that. Now, I taught this where we date to choose. We shouldn't date like we're married. Okay. Now, if I see this while I'm dating to choose, I'm going to come to a conclusion that this person isn't the person I'm going to choose. I'm not going to choose a person that's not going to attempt to work with me. And that's why we're dating. So the reason why people end up marrying the wrong person is that they date wrong. They date wrong. They date like they're married. And then when they're married, they behave like they're single, like they're dating. I don't know if you just get that, because if I'm dating, then I'm checking you out. I'm trying to choose. So if I see that you're not trying to accommodate my needs, then I'm not going to choose you. You just get that?
Yeah, sorry, it just cut off. So the last part, you said you date to choose, and then it cut off.
Okay. You date to choose. And because you're dating to choose, if the person is not trying to accommodate my needs, then I realize that this is not a person that I'm going to stay with. Because the whole idea about dating is that we're trying to choose. Why people miss it is that many times people don't know why they're dating. People don't know why they're dating at all. And that way they end up marrying the wrong person. So if we date well, we'll get to select the right person, and then the chances of the marriage working is higher because we chose a person who has a higher potential to satisfy our needs. Because we
Have you
dated
ever
properly.
seen people who start with one personality type and then change to another? You know, because you can meet somebody
Like a
and then
Jekyll and Hyde.
initially they're aggressive, and then because they've been beaten down in the relationship, they start getting passive aggressive. They're no longer aggressive. You kind of, that part of them dulls. So have you seen that kind of evolution in people's personality types?
Yes, but most times there's been some abuse somewhere where one party has been oppressive, and then one party starts to change shape. And now if that occurs in the dating, then my question is, why are they still dating? You just get that. And one thing too that I teach is this: time reveals. Never be in a hurry. Never be in a hurry. Take your time. And in time, everything is revealed and you know what you're getting into. And if you know that you're dating to choose, when some things are revealed, you'll know if it's, we need counseling, we need to talk some more, or I just need to get out. I think we did a thing on red flags like a few weeks ago, and we went into the different red flags that we should watch out for. It's on my IG.
Yeah, I think that you could have, I think like the red flag conversation concerning personality types is important. You can really see red flags, but really, really like someone and really have good conversation and really connect with them. And you don't know how to process it, especially if you've been dating a lot and you have had really bad experiences and finally you have a good experience, but there's all these red flags, but you love spending time with the person, you know what I mean? But they don't compromise, for instance.
I've had to cancel people like that. And I'll tell you this, many times, every single time I've canceled a couple where it's been really, really bad. And most times I'm talking to the lady and I'm saying, did you not see this while you guys were dating? And every single time they tell me yes. And then I ask you, okay, so, why did you go ahead? But most times people don't, like it's one thing to see a red flag. It's something else to know that what's the consequence of this thing I'm seeing? What's the consequence 5 years down the road? What's the consequence 10 years down the road? Many people don't know that. So they see the red flags, they know it's not nice, but they go ahead. But yeah, if there are red flags that if you get into it, you will regret it. There's no getting out of it. you're just going to regret it. It's like 2 + 2 will give you 4. So if you know that this person has this tendency and you get into it, then you're going to encounter it.
Do you think that, like, what if you don't know, especially in the beginning of a relationship, what personality type someone is? Maybe you don't know if they're passive or they're passive aggressive because they haven't like gotten really angry or anything like that. So you're still trying to learn them. How do you understand whether they're passive, aggressive?
Now, an aggressive is easy to know because they just you can't, you most times you will not know a passive aggressive till they start to push back. It's when they start pushing back that you realize that their silence, their passiveness is not completely passive. And once they start to push back, when they start struggling to, when you have communication issues where you think this is where we are both going, and halfway down the road, they say, actually, I don't want to go this way. And you're asking, why don't you go this way? So, well, I never wanted to go this way. Then it's like, why didn't you tell me? Well, I said it. But then why did you tell me again? Well, that's not my style. And then you know that, what, there's a problem. And that's what happens most of the time, where the aggressive is just going. And when they start pulling back is when you realize that they're not with you completely. Most times you think they're with you. But then, at some point you realize, actually, I'm not carrying this person along. I need to make an effort to carry them along.
Yeah, I think we definitely need to make an effort, and I think we definitely need to be checking in with our partner, checking in with them to make sure that they understand that we're on the same page, especially maybe with passive aggressive people, because you don't know what they're saying, if it's true or not, or what they're truly feeling, unless you check in with them.
And then also too, aggressives have a way of talking where aggressives will say, I'm going to do this. I'm coming to your house. Okay. Now, a passive aggressive may not want to tell you don't come. Okay. So don't always ask, can I come to your house? Can I do this for you? Can I, just ask, can I? And then give a passive aggressive the opportunity to say no. There's a way you can communicate with a passive aggressive or even a passive that you don't give them the opportunity to say. Make it easy for your partner to say I don't agree. Make it easy for your partner to say no. So it's the small things in communication that really helps. Do you get that?
So we had a question. It said, how do you feel with a passive aggressive spouse who constantly shuts you up by referring to things you said or did in the past?
Well, that does happen, but both of you have got to, no, love doesn't do that. That's why we've got to know what love just does not do that. Love doesn't do that. You can't keep bringing back the past. You can't keep accusing. You can't be blaming. That's just not what love does. Chime, thank you. I have to go. I have to bring up Buffy, I believe. I'm going to call you. We should do this again. This was really good. I enjoyed this. And we need more men on the platform. We need to hear from you.
No problem.
Okay?
We're here. The men are here.
Good. Have an amazing time. I'll talk to you. Thank you. Fantastic. Okay. Let's have, where's Buffy? Buffy, where are you? 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 We're talking about passive aggressives. Can you please just request? I can't find you right now. I can't find you. I can't find you. Request, so I can see ya. Anyway, so as you were saying, Joy Pastries. Did Joyce Pastries want to come? let me see what Joyce Pastries has to say to me tonight. Fantastic. Okay. So as we were speaking, we're talking about passives, about passive aggressives. We're talking about the combinations. And the combination that's really, really dangerous is an aggressive with a passive aggressive. That's a dangerous combination. Let me look here and get some questions. Let me answer some questions. While we're waiting, Joy Pastries is trying to come on board. While we're waiting, let me get some questions answered. Where am I? Right here. I haven't seen my girlfriend get angry in our 2 years of dating. Okay. Fantastic. And the Ojodu, yes. Go live, yes. Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. Okay. I think Buffy's coming on. It says, I haven't seen my girlfriend get angry in 2 years of dating. She just never gets angry. Could it be that she's just pretending to be calm, or is there a personality type like that? I mean, if she's passive, that's fine. If she's passive, hey, how are you? Hi.
Hey, PD.
Hey, Buffy.
How's things?
Good.
I'm good. I've been enjoying the conversation so far.
Great. The topic is dangerous personality type combinations, passives, aggressives, and passive aggressives. So talk to me.
Exactly. So I'm a textbook aggressive. But the word aggressive is so heavy. I don't know that I'm very comfortable with the term aggressive. But going by the definition you gave, I'm a textbook aggressive. And my thinking as they were speaking, I thought about something. A relationship is about sharing, right? Sharing yourself, your hopes, your aspirations, your fears, generally just sharing yourself with another person. So going by that, isn't the idea of being passive aggressive just generally working against the very idea of a relationship in the first place? Because that implies that a person is withholding a part of themselves, even though they feel that way strongly, and then acting later on, usually on the negative side of things, on the long term. So that in itself, is that something that the aggressive, because I hear us throw around the term saying you need to work around it and carry them along and carry a passive aggressive along. But then, I don't know, I wonder, is that in itself okay, being passive aggressive in a relationship, and that's something someone else has to work around?
Okay, it's like this. If you're passive aggressive, it's not like you had a choice where like there were like three, like, okay, choose one, aggressive, passive, or, that's just how you've evolved. From your environment and your exposure, you've become this passive aggressive person. Most times passive aggressives, when they were younger, they developed a defense system. It's like, as kids, they got scared and they started building defense systems around themselves, where they started talking, they're answering mentally, but not answering vocally. Okay, and eventually they become passive aggressive. So it's a system where they're hiding behind defenses that they made for themselves. And I think as we grow older, or as they grow older, they need to learn to put those defenses down because they're not needed, and just come out and play. So it's not a bad thing, but it's complicated. It's more complicated than bad. So if you're passive,
that's interesting.
Huh?
That's interesting, because that's actually the second question I wanted to ask. Because a lot of the time, at least from my own experience, people who I have interacted with, friendships, relationships, whatever the case is, even in family, there's usually some underlying traumatic experience in the past, or maybe a series of them, that evolves to what you can term as a victim mindset. And a victim, I don't say this negatively, I mean in the victim mindset, where you tend to view certain things that a person does, an aggressive does, as something done against you, right? So how do you work with someone to overcome such a thing in the event that that is present?
Okay.
How do you identify it, work around it?
Yeah, okay. I'll tell you this. I wouldn't blanket that every passive aggressive has a victim mentality. I really wouldn't say that. It's possible that that's there, but it's not the norm. The passive aggressive just doesn't get hurt because the aggressive is just bulldozing their way forward, doing their thing. But then if there's a victim mentality there, then it needs to be looked into. It needs to be addressed, and most times it comes from a place where the person either you show them more love, or you show them that the love that you're giving is love and it's real. It's not fake. Because if the person believes that you love them and you're dealing with them from a heart of love, then they'll accept what you do. Do you get? But if they think that the heart is
I understand.
not exactly, then they could start to try to see, you know, this thing that you're doing, where is it coming from, you know, and that kind of thing. So it's not about
Understood.
love, it's about
Understood.
communication. It's about drawing them in, carrying them along, and being consistent.
Okay. Okay.
Being loving.
And being, sorry, did you say being consistent?
Being consistent, yeah. Because there are times if you're not consistent, a passive aggressive can get confused. It's like, okay, you're carrying me along now, but you didn't carry me along now, and then they're trying to evaluate what's really going on. So consistency is important. How about that? Hi, we're frozen again. This has been an interesting 60 seconds with PD. Anyway, we're on 60 seconds with PD. We're here every Saturday at 8:30 on PII 19. Yes, we are waiting for this stuff. This is amazing, amazing, amazing. I hope that we are all hearing something. I think we lost Buffy. Wow. We lost Buffy. Great question. And he had such great questions. If you can come on, come back on. If you can come back on. Royal Sugar and Drinks, do you really want to come on? Are you sure you really, really want to come on? Let's see. Let's try Royal Sugar and Drinks. You might have some questions for us. Royal Sugar and Drinks. Do you really, really want to come on? Hi. Hello. Hi, louder,
Hello,
please.
good evening.
Hi. How are you?
The
Do you have
line
any
is
questions
very
for me?
bad down here.
Hello. Hello. Talk to
Hello?
me. Talk to me.
I can
We're talking
hear
about
you.
dangerous personality type.
I can hear you, but the line is bad down here.
It's not very clear. Okay, we'll answer some questions here. It says my boyfriend always wants me to make every decision, even if I tell him to decide.
I
He'll say whatever I
can
think is fine.
barely hear you.
Hello. Hello. Yes, Buffy is back. Let's see. Buffy, we're waiting for you to come back. Okay. It's good for both of you to get involved in decision making. But if one party needs to take the lead and the other party is genuinely okay, then it's okay. It's okay. It's better. I mean, somebody has to take the lead. So if your partner is not taking the lead, but even though you're taking the lead all the time, make sure that you're checking up with them. Are they okay with the decisions that you're making? Are they okay? And always give your partner, make it easy for them to say no. Make it easy for them to not agree. Don't be pushy. You just get that. Fantastic. Next question is, my spouse seems to always make the decisions regarding everything. He believes his decisions is always the best when it's obvious that it's not always. My opinion hardly counts. What should I do? You need counseling. You need counseling because your partner, is an aggressive, and he can't just you need to have a voice. Every partner in a relationship needs to have a voice. A voice. Hello.
Yeah,
Hello.
I'm here.
Okay, I can't see you, but at least I can hear you. Okay.
Oh, really? You can't?
Give me your parting shot. You have 2 more minutes.
2 more minutes. Okay, I have another question. So how do you deliberately, so a lot of the times people are passive aggressive because of political correctness, right? There are certain things you can't say, right? Or at least you feel
passive aggressive because
I mean, so okay, so if you hold something inside for so long, let's say, for example, let's use something as trivial as weight, for instance, yeah? And you can't tell somebody, you can't comment on a person's weight, but you act it out, right? You act it out later on, but you don't directly address it, for instance. That's being passive aggressive because you're not speaking to the actual topic or the thing that's on your mind. And it's political correctness, right? And you have that in politics, you have that in business. So how does that apply? How do you work around that in a relationship where people can be candid and open?
Okay, so basically, you aren't allowed to speak, or you're the one not allowing the other person to speak? I need a clear.
Okay, so I think it's neither or. So it is a case where, because of what you believe or perceive to be okay to say within the confines of a relationship. You know what I mean?
Okay. Now let's stick to the topic of weight. If it's about weight, if I'm going to talk to you about your weight, I'm not going to talk to you derogatively. I'm not going to nag you.